Hello and welcome to my first tutorial on how to build your derby machine. I'm going to take you through the same process I learned how to do everything. I really didn't know much to start off with. I've taken a couple electronics classes in high school. Programming I was a little bit better at. I took high school, took basic, a few classes, college, a couple C++ classes. I've done a couple of websites, but I've never really worked with the Arduino software, Arduino compilers, so it was all new to me. I basically learned from watching YouTube videos, really the woodworking, the writing the program. I watched a bunch of YouTube videos and kind of figured out what I needed to do from there. So what we're going to use for this first tutorial, it's once again the same way that I started when trying to figure everything out. What we're going to use is this Arduino Uno here. If you don't have one, go buy one. It's not that much money. We're going to look at a couple different websites here to see what they are. So Radio Shack, you'll see them for $34.99. That's an actual Arduino one. If you go to Micro Center, if you have one around you, it's really convenient store to get a lot of these parts at. Inland makes one. It's Arduino compatible. $6. Every one that I've used on my machines has been Inland. I've never had one go bad or anything, so they work just fine for me. If you want to save even more money, if you go to eBay, here's one for $3.36. It's from China, free shipping. Probably have it in a couple of weeks, so you'll be out $3 if you can't get this to work. So if you haven't done so already, you got to go to Arduino, get the newest compiler, 1.6.9, download it, install it. Windows, Mac, Linux, got them for all of them. So go download it, go install it. Alright, let's talk about programming. Hopefully you have a little programming experience. If you don't, I guess just follow along the best you can. It's not that hard. So, alright, so you open up Arduino, you start off with a blank sketch. Every program has to have two things, and one is a setup, and anything you put inside this setup is going to run one time. Once you turn on the Arduino, it starts up, it's going to run the setup one time, and after it runs the setup, it's going to run this loop. So loop, it just constantly loops. It starts at the top, goes to the bottom, goes back up to the top. Whatever code you put in there just constantly runs and runs and runs as long as the power is on. So on the Arduino, take a look at it real quick. Over on the top side here, you'll see pin 0 going all the way to pin 13. Those are digital pins. Analog pins, A0 to A5. There's a couple other pins over here, some grounds, 5 volts, 3.3 volts. There's also a ground over on this top side here. So what we're going to do for this first program, pin 13 has an LED hooked up right there. So what I want to do is I want to make that LED flash. We have 1 second on, 1 second off. So you need the Arduino board, a printer cable, just like this one right here, A to B printer cable, and you plug that in, and hopefully the lights all turn on. There you go. Now your Arduino is powered up by your computer. So we got our setup and loop. Anytime you use a pin in Arduino, you need to tell the compiler, what that pin is going to be used for. In order to do that, pin mode is the command. Pin mode 13 is going to be output. The alternative to that is input if you needed to read it, whether the input's high or low. Pin mode 13 input if it was going to be an input pin. But it's an output pin, so pin mode 13 output. Command digital write 13. We're going to make it high, so What it's going to do is it's going to put 5 volts out at pin 13. We're going to delay that for 1 second. So 1 second is actually 1,000 in here, whatever that is, milliseconds. Then we're going to say digital write 13 low, which means there's no voltage to it. We're going to delay that for 1 second. And once again, this is a loop, so once that's done, it'll go back up to the top. It finishes this delay, goes back up to the top to digital write 13 high, so I'll turn it back on, delay 1 second, turn it off. It'll constantly loop as long as I have the power to it. Under tools, you go to board and select which board it is. If you bought a Mega, it'd be select one of these, but we are using the Uno, so click on Uno. The serial port, I do have mine hooked up to COM5. Click COM5. This little right arrow, see that, upload. Click upload, it's going to send it to the board. You'll see this light here flash in a second saying, alright, I'm getting, something's going on here. And now you'll see that light, 1 second on, 1 second off, 1 second on, 1 second off, on, off, on, off. As long as I leave it powered up, it's going to constantly do that. Digital write we'll use quite a bit, mostly in the odds board. When you see if your horse doesn't, if the horse combination doesn't win, the 10 horses, the 9 that don't win, you'll see those odds boards go blank. That's digital write high or low. It's telling you got a command in there saying, all right, that backlight, I want to turn it off, so they all turn off, and only the one that actually won stays on. So you'll use this command in that. Also, communicating from board to board, I use this a little bit too. So it's a real easy command. We're going to use it a lot. So it's a nice way to start off with. Okay, I hope you stick with me to the next tutorial.